Hello, we're going to do another recipe from one of my cookbooks. We're going to do the Boston Bean Pot Cookery. I got this when I was in Boston. I went to a shop and I asked the lady, is there any cookbooks that she would recommend for New England cuisine? And this is what she gave me. I did not realize at the time, though, I needed a bean pot for the recipes in here. So I'll just be using a cast iron Dutch oven, one of my small ones, for the recipe we're going to be doing. And we're doing the Boston brown beans. It calls for half a pound of tofu. I think I'm going to exclude that one just because I don't have any other use for tofu. If I can't find a half pound at the grocery store, I'm not going to do it. A cup of cabbage. It doesn't specify what style of cut for the cabbage, but in the directions it does say to saute the cabbage. So I'm going to go ahead and get either shredded cabbage, or if I can find a small head of cabbage, I'll go with a small head to shred myself. A cup of oil, 3 cups dried navy beans or lima beans, a cup of water, half a cup of tomato puree, 1 tablespoon salt, 1 cup molasses, and 2 tablespoons mustard powder. Now, it's dried beans because the first instruction is to soak the beans overnight, then drain. Then we're going to saute the cabbage, tofu in oil until tender, and then combine with remaining ingredients and bake in a bean pot covered in an oven at 250 degrees for 1 to 1.5 hours or until tender. Add more liquid as needed. So instead of getting navy beans or lima beans, I'm changing the recipe again because I have these beans, which are just labeled like 10,000-year-old beans or something like that. They're beans that were found in an archaeological site and were still usable. So someone cultivated them and has released them for sale. So I grew these myself. These are beans I grew, harvested, and dried out myself. So I have 3 cups in a bowl here. I'm gonna go ahead and fill enough water to go just about a ½ inch above the top of the beans. And I'll cover it and I'll keep it overnight. And then tomorrow we'll pick up with me rinsing them, draining them, rinsing them, and then starting the recipe. So you'll see me in a second. I'll see you all tomorrow. Hello. So we're going to continue on with our recipe. It's been a day, so I have my beans soaking. We're gonna go ahead and rinse them off. All right. So now I need to prepare everything else. So I got a whole cabbage, so I need to slice up the cabbage. I did get the tofu. It was super cheap. So I need to cube that up. It doesn't specify how to use the tofu, cut it, slice it, chop it, however. So I'm just gonna cube it up until I have about a pound of it cubed up. And then we'll come back and we will compile all of our ingredients. Now that all of our ingredients are prepared, we're going to saute the cabbage and tofu in that ½ cup of oil until the cabbage becomes soft. So let's jump into that. All right, so now that that is sauteed, we're going to combine all the ingredients into our bean pot, which again is going to be my cast iron crock pot Dutch oven. Dutch oven, that's the word I'm looking for. And then this is going to go into the oven at 250 degrees for 1.5 to 2 hours, checking as needed to add more water. So let's go ahead and combine all our ingredients. All right, there we have it. It doesn't look pretty, but it's all there. Give it one more quick stir. So the oven is preheated at 250. It does tell me to check it about halfway through to add more water if I feel like it needs. So we'll bake this up, see what it turns out in about 2 hours, and we'll give it a try for our Boston brown beans. All right, so they've been in there for about an hour now, so let's go ahead and pull them out and see what they look like. It does say that we might need to add some liquid. All right, let's tilt you down. Time for a reveal here. Well, I mean, looks like there's plenty of liquid to me. A lot of liquid still. I can still feel some firmness to the beans too. So we might end up cooking this for more than 2 hours if the goal is to cook it down to the beans being tender. It has some heat come off of it. Let's go ahead and put this back in the oven. All right, so we'll set another timer for an hour. We'll check it after that point. I have other things to eat for dinner if I don't end up finishing this in time, but we'll keep going at it. All right, well, it's been 3 hours. I get where it's trying to go. I don't think it's ready for me to even attempt to try it. But let me show it to you, stir it around a little bit. It's gonna go into the oven for at least 1 more hour. That'll be 4 hours total at this point. So let's go and look at it. So, still very liquidy. I'm wondering if like the bean pot, I mean, it looks like it seals pretty tightly like any other pot. So I don't really understand where we're going wrong here. Doesn't look like moisture is supposed to be escaping. It's not escaping really. The beans are still tender, or not tender, but are still a little al dente, I guess. They're not tender is what I meant to say. Well, let's go ahead and try one. Yeah. They definitely still need to cook for a little bit longer. All right, well, the ice machine turned on, so I guess it's time for me to stop filming this and put this back in the oven. Well, here it is, fresh out of the oven, still bubbling. Let's give it a stir. I can still feel the denseness of the beans. Still lots of liquid in here. I might throw it in for a half hour with the lid off and see how it looks. Let's go ahead and try one of the beans. Still a little al dente. Not quite how I would like it. So I'll smooth these out, make sure they're all under liquid. See how things go. All right, so it's been like almost 5 hours of cooking these beans. Here they are. Let's go ahead and try them. I don't know if it's the beans, since these are ones I grew myself, or if it's the recipe, but I'm not overly impressed with the cook on them. So let's give them a try. All right. So the beans are cooked. Still a little on the firm side, al dente, but definitely edible. They kind of smell like a low seasoned baked bean, which I guess is technically what they are. They're baked beans. Other than providing protein, I don't really see the point of the tofu. But beans already have protein in them, so they're oily. The recipe called for half a cup of oil, and that's oil dripping. The oil was a little on the pointless side, I think. And I also think it kind of takes away from the overall flavor. I would probably add a few other spices, more salt, and less oil. That's how I would adjust this. And again, with the tofu added, I mean, it's kind of breaking down. Outside of increasing the protein, I don't really see the point. So I'll eat them, maybe take some to work, have them with my lunch. But overall, I'm not that impressed with this recipe.